Hey, everybody, welcome to the playground. It's me. Wait, hold on, wait. That's not me on the screen. Give me a second. Wait, there I go. Hey, everybody, welcome to the playground. It's me, the Daycare Dude. I'm so glad to be right here on the playground with you tonight, and I'm glad that you decided to join me. Could you do me a favor? Could we get those numbers up right there? Oh, wait, right there. Yeah, those numbers. Yeah, there we go. I see them going up. Let's get those numbers up tonight. I have a phenomenal guest with me tonight who's going to help us to talk about a subject that many of us don't want to talk about, or many of us don't know how to talk about. We're going to dive into a little bit of her personal life. And my mama taught me better than to be chewing gum while I'm on the camera. So y'all hold on. Give me a second. I'll be right back. This is the playground, ain't it? And let's have some fun. Get ready. Hold on. There we go. Let's have some. I done told something I'm going to need later. It don't matter. All right, y'all. Here we go. Welcome to the playground. I'm Trayvon McNeil, the Daycare Dude, and I'm so glad to be here with y'all again tonight. Do me a favor and invite some people and tell them that it's time to play tonight. I want you to tag some childcare professionals, some individuals who want to be authors one day, because the person that I have tonight is not just somebody who is a special needs teacher and educator. She's not only a Black author, a Black female author, but she is a phenomenal mother, wife, influencer, YouTube sensation. She's somebody that I absolutely, honestly, I bug her. You ever had that person that bug you, say, hey, teach me how to do this, teach me how to do this. And when you get ready to teach them, they got 10 other things they're doing. Yeah, I'm the person that does that to her. Teach me how to be on YouTube like you and get followers like you. Teach me how to write books like you. And then when she's ready to teach me something, it's kind of like, where are you, Trayvon? I thought you needed me to help you. All right. So tonight, y'all, I'm bringing in my friend, none other than the one and only Mrs. Tashonda McCormick is tonight. She's here with us. Tashonda, say hi to everybody here on the playground.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
All right, Tashonda, we're glad to have you here tonight. Listen, this is what I want you to do. I want you to give me a second while I talk to these childcare professionals real quick and tell them that it's so important that you find somebody who's a childcare professional and let them know that it's time to listen to this. Maybe you're listening to this audio podcast. It's a replay for you, but I want to tell you that it's so imperative that you share this link, share the line with somebody and let them know that this is a phenomenal episode tonight. I've got my friend Tashonda who is here, and she's getting ready to just bring it on tonight. She's going to talk to us a little about special needs education, her experience therein, and then we're going to dive into talking about some of her books that I had to make sure, just a few of her books that I had to make sure I purchased for my daughters. All right, we're going to talk about these two books, Forgiving Angie. And these look familiar to you? You know anything about these books?
Those are my favorite books in the world. Yes.
These are your books?
Yes, they are. I wrote them.
They're your books? You wrote those. Come on. So listen, we got Tashonda here. Tashonda, we want to talk tonight. So first of all, let's just open the door, open the floor. Would you just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and we'll start there tonight. Introduce yourself to our audience, if you will.
Okay, sure. As Trayvon mentioned, I'm Tashonda McCormick. I am a wife and mother of two. I'm also a special educator. I teach kindergarten through third grade ID-MOD, which is basically children with moderate intellectual disabilities. I've been teaching for a little over 3 years now at the same school, and so I enjoy what I do.
All right, I'm glad to hear that, and I'm more so glad to hear that you enjoy doing what you do. So tell us a little bit about when you say you're in the special education field. Mm-hmm. What is the special like? What is that like for you? What is it like to not only be in a room with people who have intellectual disabilities, but what is it like to have to care for them and honestly to educate them? Is it frustrating ever? Is it tiring? I mean, give us the real about that.
It is tiring. I will say it is tiring. I often go home very tired, but it's worth it because at the end of the day, it takes a certain type of individual to work with these kids. It's never a dull moment. At any given moment, somebody could fly across the classroom. At any given moment, somebody's going to shout. At any given moment, somebody's going to cry. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's worth it because whenever you see a child that people have essentially wrote off or, they've gotten that label of having special needs, so they're automatically labeled as, okay, they can't do this, or they will never
Yeah.
accomplish this, or they'll never be able to amount to this. And then you see them making those strides. It ends up being worth it, because it brings joy to my heart, especially those that, a lot of them seemingly have behaviors and things of that nature that people look at and be like, oh, that's a bad child. People label them as bad children. But when you have a disability, you have an inability to communicate, it makes it harder for you to manage your own behaviors. So to really back in, I enjoy working with them, and it's worth it, but it does sometimes create frustration, sometimes creates tiredness. And so, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. For some reason, guys, my Wi-Fi is acting like it wants me to find another company. I'm not sure what's going on here, but I just went out of here, and then it came back onto the studio. But okay, it's tiring. But you also mentioned that it's rewarding. What is, and I know you did mention it, okay, but I did fall out a little bit of it. So what is the reward? Tell me what the reward is.
I think for me, the most rewarding thing is seeing a child do something that nobody thought that they could do. I have children that, since I teach K-3, that means I teach children kindergarten through third grade, and they're all in the same class. So I have children that come in that don't know their letters, and then I have other children that are reading at actually their grade level, third grade level. So, to see these that come in, don't know their letter, and some of them have issues with retaining information, to see them actually learning the material that I'm teaching, and then to see those. I also feel good when somebody is nonverbal, or I have some that are considered to be nonverbal. They don't speak, but some of them, it's hard to explain, because some are nonverbal when they want to be nonverbal, put it that way. They won't talk when they don't want to talk, and then other times they'll talk. So it makes me feel good whenever I see them socially interacting. For the ones that may not normally interact with people on a normal basis, to see them playing, or to see them sharing, or to see them attempting to have conversation in their own way. And I mean, that might be just pulling somebody off to say that they want to play, or pointing at something where they would normally just sit there and not say anything. I know I have one student, when she came in, she did not talk at all. Anything that would upset her, she would just scream. And so when she would scream, I would say, stop it, or say, move, or say, and now every time something happens, she's like, move, please. So that really, that really makes me feel good about myself. And another thing that's rewarding to me is to build a relationship with the kids, because I know that some of them, even the ones that don't speak, you don't really get a lot of emotion or a lot of feedback from them. But there's one in particular, every time I leave the room, she cries. Like, I have to make a public service announcement that I am coming back. So she knows, okay, she's coming back. And I'll say, I'm coming back. You coming back? I'm coming back. Okay. So, it's rewarding to know that I'm building those relationships, whether they can communicate that with me clearly or not.
Yeah, I think that's the beautiful thing. So one thing about me, a lot of people don't know, is I worked in special education for a short period of time as well, in the middle school sector. So, well, not sector, but in the middle schools here in Fayetteville. I worked at Ann Chestnut Middle School, and I worked a little at Lewis Chapel with special needs children. And I learned a lot. There was a lady there by the name of, I cannot remember her first name, but her last name was Sedano. Miss Sedano. Miss Sedano was an amazing special needs teacher. And actually, one of my cousins was her assistant teacher. And of course, I was a third assistant in that classroom. And when I tell you, Miss Sedano had a way with these children that other people could not just handle them the way that she did. There was a way that she could tell them that she loved them and they embraced it. There's a way she could tell them, no, you will not do that. And they took that. They accepted her command of no, that's not okay. And then I watched children, as you stated, who were nonverbal, who had been, using your words, wrote off, who had been basically told that they or not they had been told, but their parents had been told that they could do nothing other than use the electronic pad to speak for them. I watched these children start using verbiage. These children started using words. But I believe this, and tell me what you think about this.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that when you love a child enough, you can love them out of pressure. You can love them out of a handicap. I really do believe that. Now, I'm not saying that it happens in everybody's case. So those of you who don't agree, please don't beat me up, okay? But I'm just telling you what I believe. I believe that if you love hard enough, you can give enough to make a child develop into who he or she should be. You know what I mean? Who they can be. Let me say it that way. Who they can be. And I think that's important. What are your thoughts on that? On the impact of love?
Yeah, I do agree with that. When I first came in, I came in January of 2019, and I was just stuck in the middle of a class that had not had a consistent teacher all year. They had been having subs and in and out, and there was one particular child that I would say she was a school-wide issue. It wasn't like just the classroom or the area that we were in. No, it was like a school-wide. She had a lot of behaviors. And me coming in, I didn't know this was my first special education class. So I'm like, I don't know the protocol. I don't know what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. Do I call somebody? Do I just what? She would elope and it would just be a whole lot. And so, I worked with her for a year, and I would always tell her, you're smart, you're important, you can do these things, like affirmations for her. And one day she told me, now, this did not stop the behaviors, but it lessened them a lot. And she told me one day that she felt like I was the only person that cared about her. And
really?
Yeah. And by the end of that year, she drew a picture, and I still have it today. She drew a picture of herself, was supposed to be herself and me, and she was like, "I love you, Mom." And I was like, and I was just like, oh, blown away. And even with that, her academics went up. I will say the behaviors never stopped, but her academically, she went up, and just to see her be like, I did it, I did it, I did it, that really made me feel like, okay, you can love a child past, or you can love a child to the point where they can excel.
Yeah. And I think that's the important part, us not forgetting that we're here for a purpose, whether it's in early childhood education or it's in the general education realm. You're here to educate a child. You're here to give that child something. And whether or not that child has a behavior or behaviors, I think it's important. I hope you would agree that we not neglect the fact that we are here to help this child get something. So when we see that they are excelling academically, but they still have behaviors, now that's one other thing. Okay, yeah, we got to deal with these behaviors, and we have to learn to help them to cope in certain areas and build certain coping skills. But what if those skills don't work because of their disability, if you will, because of those areas of their special need? What can I do to still help them excel in their learning process? Because every child deserves to learn. Every child deserves the opportunity to be able to grow. Let me ask you this question, because you're talking about these things that make you smile, basically, make you happy about being in the classroom. Very, very straightforward question. What is the most rewarding part about your career as a special needs teacher?
The most rewarding?
Yeah.
It's just like I said, being able to see them grow, like even socially, because like I said, I had the ones that came in that didn't talk, or the ones I know I had written for one student that he didn't initiate play. He, other kids would be playing and he would just sit there, and I'm like, I could tell he wants to play because he's kind of, bouncing back and forth. But then to see him, what he does now is to initiate play, he'll walk up to somebody's desk and tap it. Walk up to somebody's desk and tap it. Now, it's one particular girl, he likes to tap her desk. Every time he taps her desk, she screams and hollers. And so he thinks that's funny. And she's laughing. She's not scared. She's laughing, but he wants to play with her. So he'll tap her desk, and then they'll get up and run around together. So I think it's like you said, sometimes with their disabilities, it's hard for them to maybe excel academically at times, but even
Mhm.
socially, to see them grow and to know that they're like making friends in their own way, not necessarily the way, a general ed child would make a friend, but
Mhm.
to see them making friends in their own way is rewarding for me.
I think that's really good. I think that's good that if we pay that close attention. Okay, look, let me do this because I'll get stuck in that one part there because I love relationship and I love seeing people build relationship, and I think that's a phenomenal thing. Honestly, I love seeing that. So I'll get stuck talking about them two running around together. I think that's just great. Okay, what is the most challenging thing about being a special education teacher?
I think the most challenging thing for me are the behaviors, but
Oh wow! But
because
wait, I know you're going to give us your because, but I want to point something out. You're a special education teacher. You
mhm,
enjoy teaching special education. You see the fruit of your work in teaching special
mhm.
education, but you still have a frustration.
Yes, I think that
Wow.
as teachers sometimes, and this is general ed and special needs, they expect, because we're teachers, to just love teaching so much that we never get frustrated, and that's just not fact. Like
Right.
the behaviors I've seen, behaviors from biting, scratching, kicking, eloping, like I've seen basically everything, and
Can
so.
you can you help us to know when you say eloping, because you've used that word a few times? Can you
Okay.
help our viewers to kind of become familiar with what eloping is?
Yeah, eloping just basically means running out the classroom. Yeah, anytime, whenever you have the textbook definition of eloping, they're either running out of the classroom, or we have in our classroom, we have a bathroom inside of our classroom, running into the bathroom, trying to stay in there. That's what's considered eloping, just leaving the room without permission. So
Mm.
yeah, I've seen a lot, and I know the classroom I had in years past, the outside door led straight to the street. So if they're running out the door, then I'm like, I'm not very fast. Somebody needs to go get to them because I can't. I had one girl. She was so fast that I tried to put her in the Special Olympics, and I just remember praying, please, God, don't let her go out this door. Don't let her go out the door, please. Don't let her go out the door because she was so fast. I was like, I'll never catch her. But yeah, the behaviors. But what I do whenever I think about the behaviors is I think about it like this.
Okay.
I have, Amaya, my daughter. She's 4. She's almost 5. So I have 5-year-olds in my class. Amaya, when she gets upset, she'll let you know she's upset. I'm mad, I'm upset, or I'm gonna cry, and you haven't seen this side of her, but I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna throw myself out on the floor. Now, imagine a child that is mad and upset, but you don't understand, they can't get their point across. They can't even talk. They can't
Yeah.
express
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
And that in itself is frustrating for the child. So, I mean, I've been scratched before just because a child is trying to get my attention because they're upset about something. So that's
Yeah.
what I try to keep in mind whenever I do get frustrated with behaviors. Now, I will say on the flip side, I have
What's the
students.
flip side? Uh-huh.
I have students that have mild disabilities to where they're just a little bit behind,
Mhm.
and they just don't necessarily, I'm trying to put it nice, they have not been taught to behave.
They mama and daddy don't know how to discipline them. Come
So
on, tell the truth. We're
that
all
that's
educators here.
yeah, that's the other side of it. Because I do have a child that will just throw himself out on the floor for any given reason. Like he don't like what we watching. He don't want to go inside, and I will just step over him and let him have his temper tantrum. And I'll be like, "Are you done?" And sometimes he'll be like, "No, I'm not done." And I'll be like, "Okay, when you're
Finish up,
finished,
buddy.
you
Right.
come on over here." And then every time he's done, he'll come up and he'll be like, "I'm sorry, teacher. I'm sorry." I'm
But
like,
you know,
"Okay."
Tashonda, even in the early childhood, field, I want people to understand that sometimes the best therapy for a child is to allow them that expression. Even though it
Mhm.
frustrates us, so you want to throw yourself on the floor. Okay, are you finished? Okay, well, you go ahead and do what you do, and you monitor that child while they throw their little tantrum. You monitor them so they don't hurt themselves or anyone else or destroy property, because our daycare furniture costs a lot for you parents who send your children to daycare and act like they ain't got to pay for them. But anyway, oh, sorry, that was my bad. Went off on tangent, but so that I love that you said honestly that sometimes he's there and he's throwing his tantrum and you say, are you done? And he has the freedom to respond to you, say, no, I'm not done. Okay, we'll finish, buddy. I'm going to let you finish. Now, some people may say, no, you're harboring a behavior. No, there's a difference, because you also have to know your boundaries, or let that child learn that there are boundaries to this thing. You don't get to just throw yourself on the floor every time you get upset. But there are going to be moments that I allow you to throw yourself and do what you do, not throw yourself on the floor, excuse me, the wrong descriptive language, but there will be time to let you have your little fit,
Right.
And I'm going to let you define Jesus. I'm going to let you express yourself in the way that you would, So I don't want to get stuck on this too long, but I do want to ask you this. What would you say, and I have this question right now here, what would you say is important for teachers and staff to understand when it comes to children who have special needs, even those who behave like this?
I think it's important to try a lot of different strategies, because one strategy might work for one child, because that child in particular, just stepping over him and letting him get it out and he'll come on around eventually. But another child, that might not be the option for them. So trying things like sensory items. I know a lot of my kids, and I teach IDMOD, which is a little bit different from autism, but I think it works for autistic kids, some autistic kids as well, like sensory items like fidgets and like the little poppable things that all the kids have now. Trying something like that.
I think they're called poppets.
Poppets, yes, those things.
I think that's it.
Poppet, that works for another child. Having a sticker chart, a reward system of some kind. Most of my kids will get themselves together for a sticker. And I mean, sometimes it doesn't take much. You just hype it up. I bought a Dollar Tree pack of stickers, and I was just like, look at what I got today. And I mean, they were like, this is magic stickers. We're going to get the stickers.
Magic stickers.
So, just try everything and realize, especially if you're someone that has to go into a special needs classroom, not necessarily that you're the teacher, or if you just have to enter as like a speech or speech, OT, PT, or something like that, when you come in to pull the kids out, make sure that you remember that they really need routine. Like, don't a lot of times we have paraprofessionals that come in and they just kind of start pulling kids out, and it's just like everybody just throws everybody off. So just remembering that they really value routine. And then if you are in a elementary school setting, that to have a good relationship with the other people that have to work with your kids, because it makes it easier for them to transition from one thing to another.
Oh, that's good. Okay, wait. Oh man, you're giving me some good stuff, and now I don't know which question to ask this. Okay, so all right, here it is. So we're going to talk about her book in just a little while, guys. So I want you guys to stay with us. Make sure you tag somebody, tag a child care professional, tag a parent who has a child with special needs, or someone that you know who's working with someone with special needs. This may be some good information for you to understand what you're dealing with or what they're dealing with. So make sure you do that. Tag somebody in the comment section. Hey, you may want to comment. Comment below. Let's talk about this thing, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, wherever you're watching. We want you to engage with us tonight, okay? All right, so what was I going to, okay, so the thing that I was going to ask next, Tashonda, was this. I was going to ask you, when it comes to, you talked about routine, and then you veered off into a place where you talked about, the relationships, right, with those who are working with your children. I'm going to ask this, and it's going to seem kind of dumb to ask because you kind of just said it, but I want people to understand directly, how important is it for the parent to be engaged and involved with the teacher of a child who has some special need, whether it's severe or whether it's mild? What is the... the value of it.
It's very important. I'm fortunate that this year I have parents that are involved and they really, I'm not going to say the other parents didn't care. That's not the right words, but they're more active with me in the school. If I send a note home about something that has happened, they are quick to get back to me. And it's very important because me as the teacher, anything that happens in the classroom that could be perceived as negative, a child falls, or if I write a parent and be like, okay, your child fell, I applied ice to it, and then they don't communicate with me, and then they come back to school like this, and days pass, and then all of a sudden they're like, why does he have this mark on his head? And I send a message. Like, it's very important to be consistent as a parent with your child's teacher. Like I said, I'm fortunate enough to have parents that are very involved this year, but in past years, I've had situations to where parents, I've sent home homework, I've sent home extra practice, I've requested parent-teacher conferences, because the child was just not doing the work or not progressing, to the best of their ability. And nothing was responded to. But then when it came time for me to update their goals, or because in special education, special needs classes, they have what's called an IEP and goals that they have to reach every year, that they're expected to reach every year. But when that comes around, they're like, I don't understand why my child hasn't made any progress, hasn't made enough progress. And then it comes back to me as the teacher, like, oh, you're not doing enough. And I'm like, no, I've sent you, I've done this, I've done that, I've extra practiced, I've pulled them to the side, I've done one-on-one intervention, so it's very important to make sure that as the parent, you're staying involved with the teacher. And then on the teacher side of it, it's very important to keep documentation.
Full documentation.
Yeah, and that's important because my first year, nobody told me this. Nobody told me it was important to keep documentation. And we were trying to have a student moved into another, a different setting because their behaviors were a little bit above what we were capable of handling. But by the time it came around for her to get moved, I didn't have steady documentation. I was saying all of this stuff was happening, but I didn't have the proper paperwork. I didn't have the stuff written down. And at the end, she wasn't able to be moved. And so that's important.
So at the end of the day, when we don't do our part, it doesn't help the child.
Right.
And let me take a moment and pause and talk to my childcare owners out here and childcare professionals. I want you to know how important documentation is. I drill into my staff how important it is to document. It's important to, as she stated a moment ago, communicate with your parents on a regular basis. Communicate with your parents, with your fellow teachers on a regular basis. If you work the morning shift, your afternoon shift person should know what has taken place during the day with little Johnny or little Sarah or baby Joe. They should know what has happened during that time, because it helps them to keep a constant line of communication and understanding of what's going on in your center and so or in your program. And I want my child care professionals to understand that when you don't document well, there are two things that happen. I tell my staff this all the time. One, you don't cover your butt. Because if some accusation comes up against you, you have nothing to say. No. I wrote down here, little Johnny had a scar when he walked in this morning. That's why it's important to do health checks when they arrive to your center. That's right. My staff, we're required when they walk in, they're doing health checks in the morning. Yep. And if we see a mark, we see a bruise, your child just got there 750, 751. We've done that check. You're getting a message that says, hey, we saw that on little Johnny's bottom, little Johnny's back, there was this, and we did this, and we saw this, and we didn't do this. And then we're going to document it for our own record.
Right.
Because if there is something. So, but that's number one, you don't cover your butt. Then number two, the child can't get the help that they need. Yeah. I remember we had to write a teacher up. Because we had a child whose behaviors were absolutely different from what we had seen in our center. And I have a behavior analyst on my team, and we partner with the behavior analyst and her company. And so I have a team. I have a therapist. I have the behavior analyst, social worker, and then we're all a part of this team. And then I have a doctor who I also consult about different things and direction to move in. This is a part of our board, and this is what we do. Well, the behavior analyst, she met with the parents after we recommended, and she realized that he needed some extra attention. He needed a one-on-one, and that was going to help us to be able to continue to provide care for this child with this one-on-one. Well, here was the problem. When they moved from the behavior analyst to the psychologist said, hey, I need documentation stating how he was behaving, not once or twice, but since the beginning of his time with you all. And guess what? This teacher did not follow our policy by keeping documentation upon incidents. So we only have the documentation of when he was suspended or when this happened. You know what I said? You got to go. I need I need you to be following rules, because now you left us uncovered, and you're also not. This child can't get the help that he needs now. You get what I'm saying? And so I think it's important that we as special needs teachers, we as early childhood educators, that we understand how important it is for us to do those documenting and things like that. So speaking of documenting, though, I want to veer off into some documenting that you've done on your own, because I personally believe, now, Tashonda, I've done something. I've read both of your books. Look at this. Hold on. I've read these. You all who are here, Tashonda has 2 books that she's written, that she's published so far. Written probably 1,000 of them, but here she has published a book called Tell the Truth, Timmy, and she's written a book called Forgiving Angie. All right? She's written a book called Tell the Truth, Timmy, and Forgiving Angie. And I believe, this is just me, okay, because I've read these books. My daughters love these books. And here's the thing. I think that these books came from somewhere. Somebody in your house or in your classroom wasn't telling the truth at some point, and you had to name them Timmy, and then you wrote the book. Somebody in your house was dealing with issue of forgiveness, or my sister pushed me off the bed, and I'm mad at her, and I don't want to go back in there. You have 2 daughters, and you have a son that you're married to, right? Because every wife has a son that they're married to. Most of y'all, right? Okay, all right. And I'm just playing Jeremiah, just in case you're watching. I love you, man. My best friend. I love you, man. I'm just joking. All right. No, but okay. So Forgiving Angie and Tell the Truth, Timmy. I want you to tell us a little bit about this, and where did these books come from? Did they come out of your experiences of life and having to work in these classrooms? They come from experiences in the home with your 2 children, teaching you lessons. Where did these come from? Where were these birthed from?
Okay, well, Forgiving Angie, I actually wrote when I was pregnant with my youngest daughter. So I am only child, and I thought to myself, how do we teach our children to be forgiving in a way that they can understand? Because children don't understand I should forgive. They want what they want, and it's going to be the way I want it, and that's it. But when you add pictures and make it funny and, break it down the way that they can understand, I thought it would be good for my girls to have at the time I didn't even know it was going to be a girl, but for my children to have whenever, they got older. Tell the Truth, Timmy came because, honestly, my baby has a problem with telling the truth. She just, if it's gonna get her in trouble, she ain't gonna say it.
She ain't saying it.
She ain't. Like, if she'll be like, she'll come to me and be like, well, I didn't mean to put the toothpaste in the toilet. Ain't nobody said nothing about it. Or she'll be like, I didn't put toothpaste in the toilet. I'll be like, well, what are you talking about? Well, I didn't do it. So she's just gotta be with her. She just ain't going to the truth unless she have to. So that's where I got the idea for Tell the Truth, Timmy from. And I want, my overarching goal for all of my books is I want people to be able, children particularly, to be able to have core values, but in a way that they can understand. You can talk to a child about forgiveness. You should forgive them. but to show them in a way, seeing another child do it, seeing it in a story with color and pictures and stuff like that, they're more able to grasp it. So that's what all my books are basically meant to do.
Okay. So, guys, if you're watching now, I am here live with Miss Tashonda McCormick, YouTube sensation, author, and special needs teacher. We've talked, majority of our conversation has been about her life as a special needs teacher, her career as a special needs teacher, and how she's kind of given us some pointers and some tips and some ideas about working in the special needs sector. But now we're talking about her being an author and her writing these books. Can I read a piece of this book? Is that okay? Can I read my favorite part of Tell the Truth, Timmy? Tell the Truth, Timmy, y'all. I love to see a child get in trouble. I ain't lying. I love to see a child. Oh, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Listen to this. I guess Timmy did something he had no business doing, y'all, because Timmy got something all over his head. And look at the definition of this artwork, guys. I love this. I love this. Wait, where we at? There you go. Look at it. Look at Timmy got mess all on his hands. Can you see him? No? Timmy, yo, look at Timmy. Timmy just do. I can't even get right. I'm acting like Timmy. All right, here it is. Here's what the book says. It says, she found Timmy in his room with sticky hands. Tell the truth, Timmy. We can fix it together. Then it says, but Timmy just said, no, I didn't do it. I didn't break it, and I didn't glue it. I don't know what you're talking about. Timmy just told on himself. He done told the whole process of how he didn't do what he did. This is what I like. This is my favorite part of the book right here, y'all. My favorite part. Timmy got sent to time doggone out. Little Timmy, go to time out. Here's what I liked about this. Here's what I liked about this. And this is in all sincerity. She asked him to do something. He said he didn't do it. But she said to him, she gave him confidence in her. Okay, I don't know where my camera is. She gave him confidence in her being mom, and she said, we can fix it together. Like she told him, hey, tell the truth. We can do this together. And I think that's good that you've written a book where children can learn, but parents can get something out of this too. But look at this part. When he goes into, like, it's so real. No, I didn't do it. And you're like, well, I didn't even know that was the way it happened. And then she disciplined him. And this was her method of discipline. She set him the time out. Can you tell me what made you consider mom expressing that they could do this together and then still sending him to timeout? What made you, like, what was that, the idea behind that?
I think that I wanted him to have the opportunity to tell the truth. Like, and to know that if you tell the truth, I'm not going to fuss at you. I'm not going to continue to, go hard on you. We can just fix it and we'll move on, instead of saying, and I mean, every parent has had a moment where the child might have told the truth and you're still like, why would you do that? So for her to say, we can just fix it together, it'll be okay, that gives him the opportunity to be like, okay, well, first I can trust my mom.
Right.
And it's okay for me to make mistakes. That tells the child it's okay for me to make mistakes. But because he chose to continue to not tell the truth, that there are consequences for his actions. And the action was not telling the truth, not necessarily what he did.
What he did itself. Okay, I love it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how these books led you, or one of these books led you to this platform called YouTube, where you now have over 14,700 subscribers.
Yes,
I'm first of all upset with you because I've had a YouTube since 2000 and yesterday. All right, I had a doggone YouTube since 1991, and nobody's following me. And from my understanding, you just launched your YouTube during the pandemic. You launched your YouTube, and you're gonna have to tell us what made you do it and what got you there. But you launched your YouTube, and literally overnight, thousands of people had followed you. Could you talk to us about that real quick? About, first, just tell us what made you do this on YouTube. No, what is your YouTube channel all about? Let's go there first. Let's start there.
Okay, so my YouTube channel is called Sean's Stories. So basically, the five, I wouldn't call it philosophies, but whatever the word is, the five components of it, let's put it that way, is reading, singing, laughing, learning, and growing.
Mhm.
So I read children's stories on there. It's on screen. I do basically story time videos. I do songs for kids like ABCs and songs like that you can use in the classroom. Um, the laughing part, I have, home videos with my kids and things of that nature. But the thing that I believe when I look at it made me gain the most momentum is like I have a lot of Black History Month stories. I have a lot of stories by Black authors. I have a lot of silly stories for younger kids. And then I also have, stories dealing with letters, simple A is for this or B is for that. So it's got basically a whole lot of different kinds of content that you can use for kids all the way from baby age up until about middle school, I would say. And so that's why I
Wow.
think it needs so much popularity because once the pandemic hit, I had started a little bit before the pandemic, but once it hit and I was stuck in the house, I was like, I'm just gonna put out videos. And so, I think people gravitated toward it, and especially when schools and teachers use it in their classrooms as well.
So how did you get your YouTube channel to grow to 14,000 in just a matter of what days you said? Like, how did you do that? Was there any particular marketing strategy you had?
Um, Well, what I do normally is what a strategy. I'm not 100% sure how it grew so fast, but a strategy I know that has worked in particular months is, say it's February. February, I'm doing Valentine's Day stories. I'm doing Valentine's Day songs. I'm doing Black History Month songs. I'm doing Black History Month stories. I know March is Read Across America. That's Dr. Seuss. So I'll do Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Seuss stories. Different popular characters like Pete the Cat. And whenever different holidays come up, I'll do different holiday stories, different holiday songs and stuff like that. Because the way YouTube is set up is whenever you post something, if it's popular at that time, it's more likely to
View.
circulate.
Yeah.
hmm So that's
Wow.
basically what
So
I
that's
did.
good.
Oh, go ahead.
So no, you're good. So you feature your books on the on your YouTube channel as well, or how does
I
that work?
I haven't actually featured my own books on there as of yet, but
Okay.
some people have reached out to me to read their books for them, and so I do that. They'll send me a copy of their book, and then I'll read it on the channel for them. Create a
Yes, you guys need
yeah.
to follow her channel because my book will be broadcasted on her book on her channel soon too. So she'll be reading out my book. That's one of those things I told you I bug her about, and she's like, "Okay, here's what you got to do. Send me this information." And then I say, "Okay," and never send the information. But anyway, yeah, I want I wanted to get into that and just kind of figure out what about YouTube? Is YouTube paying you? Like,
YouTube is
it,
paying me.
YouTube is paid. You get
Yeah.
paid from YouTube.
Yes, I get paid from
No,
YouTube. Yes,
I
I was
mean,
really excited. And you want to have as many streams of income as you can. So yes, YouTube does pay. And I think that I sometimes the guidelines change, but I know whenever I first started monetizing, you I can't remember how many views you have to have across your whole channel, but a certain number of views you have to have across your whole channel, and then you have to have 1,000 subscribers. And it seems like a lot of people. But within a year, it was like I had 1,000 subscribers in a year, and then it just
kept
kept
going.
going. But
Wow.
the one thing I would say that I did not do is if you do venture into YouTube, once you get 1,000 subscribers, go ahead and monetize. Like even if you're just making a few pennies at first, go ahead and monetize. Because I was thinking to myself, oh, I don't have a lot of views, or I don't have, so I should just wait until I get more views and stuff. And I could have been monetizing like a year before that, and I could have maybe made like $200, but that's 200 extra dollars in my pocket.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Wow. Now she's around here getting freaking rich and buying cars around here in Fayetteville, guys, and
That's what I'm doing. Yes.
houses and stuff. Say what?
I said yes. That's what I'm doing around here in these streets.
Yeah, in these streets, just around here buying up stuff. But no, I love, like, She and her family just came back from Disney World, acting like it was nothing. I'm just saying they left yesterday, came back same day. You know, no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I was about to say.
But how was your trip to Disney World?
It was amazing.
You guys
I think
had fun?
we did. It was very costly. I did not incorporate how much costly it was going to be, but my children are at the ages, they're 4 and 8. So it was good because Amaya was just like, everything is magic. And then Faith was like, let's ride the roller coaster. So they're at those ages that was really good. I could do both. So
yeah. Well, my girls, one thing I don't have to worry about, my girls wouldn't want to ride roller coasters. Neither one of them. Both of them scared.
Yeah, Faith got on
We're
one.
just going to see Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah, we were in the dark for one, and you know, sometimes they'll take pictures in the thing, and at the end of the ride, she looked terrified. It was just like me sitting there, and she was just like, I was like, oh no. But yeah, she tried it.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, Tashonda, this has been a phenomenal opportunity to share with you tonight. I need you to tell us where can my listeners, my followers, where can they get these books Forgiving Angie? Wait, I'm sorry. Before we ask that, do you have any more work coming up? Are you working on anything else?
I want working to create a series with the character Angie in the Forgiving Angie book. Angie and her brother in the book is named Frankie. So I'm working on creating a series featuring them, and the first one is called Happy Birthday Angie, where she learns about not being selfish. So that's the next project I have probably later on this year.
So Angie's getting ready to learn to not be selfish.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that's going to work?
I'm hoping it will. So far, it has worked the way I have created it, but we'll see.
We're going to see. Oh, I'm excited about that one. Happy birthday, Angie. That's cool. Okay. And it's about, so, no, that's okay, because I'm going to start the whole interview over again. So that's really exciting to know. Guys, if you have not followed Tashonda yet, please go ahead and subscribe to her YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and build those numbers. It's at the bottom of the screen. These are her books, Forgiving Angie and Tell the Truth, Timmy. Tashonda, on behalf of myself and all of our listeners here and our friends here on the playground, I want to tell you that we appreciate the work that you do and every other special needs educator out there. We appreciate, whether you're in the early childhood field or you're in the general education field or sector, we want to tell you thank you so much for what you do for our babies. Thank you so much for caring for children who are often forgotten about or who are often looked down upon. They are special just like every other child, and they are special beyond their need. And we appreciate you for that. Okay, thank you so much for that. I almost cried, but I'm a G. All right, tell us real quick, where can we get these? Where can we get these if we're not in the area?
You can look it up on Amazon. They're both on Amazon. If you look up my name, Tashonda McCormick, both books should pull up for you.
All right. Okay, well, that's awesome. And so her name is on the screen as well, so you guys can see her name there. Tashonda, if there's something that you could leave with our friends tonight when it comes to special needs children, and then I want you to talk to them about maybe they have a goal to be an author. Talk to that. It's Black History Month, so let's come in and talk to that young Black woman who feels like she may not be able to write the book that she wants to write. And she may feel defeated. So I want you to, if you can, talk to that special needs teacher and encourage that person, but then talk to that author for me.
Okay. Well, to the special needs teacher, you are important. You are more than important. You're necessary in your children's lives. You may not feel that way some days whenever you go home, but just know that you're making a difference and that you will be remembered. They might not be able to say it the way a general ed child, you might see them in Walmart and they can say, you know, I remember you, but they'll remember how you made them feel and they'll remember how you cared for them. So just keep at it and, you know, don't give up. But also, I would like to say, make sure that you're taking care of yourself because burnout is real. So make sure you're also taking care of yourself. And then if you have a desire to write a book, just do it, because I'm a person that was just like, I've been writing stories since I was a kid. I would have them in a notebook. So I bet I probably have like 50 different stories, and I would just hold on to them because it's not the right time. I don't have enough money. I don't know enough as somebody else. Just do it. Do your research and write it and get it done. If you need any assistance, you can reach out to me, reach out to Trayvon, and he can get you my information. But yeah, just go ahead and put it in motion. Don't sit on it another year. I'll put it that way. Don't sit on it, because I sat on a lot of things that I could have already been doing. And so I had to learn the hard way. So just go ahead and get it done, because you're capable and you're able.
I love that. You're capable and you are able. I love that. And I love what you're sharing with our audience tonight. Hey guys, it's time to go. It's 10 o'clock now. We're at our hour, and we are glad to be able to be here on the playground. Hey, if you've been with us from the beginning, you have been with us from the seesaw to the swing set, and from the swing set over to the doggone picnic table, where we've been able to share with you and sit down and relax a little bit. But thank you so much for joining us at each stage of this experience on the playground. Hey! It ain't time to leave yet. Get back in over here. Get back over here. Thank you. Leave. Don't leave. Hold on. I'll dismiss you in a second. Don't you leave yet. I need you to do me a favor. Prepare yourself. I'm also going to be releasing my next book. Tashonda, I think this is a good time to share. Can I share it?
Yes.
Nobody else knows this, guys. You guys who are watching tonight, you're the first ones. I'll be releasing my next book entitled My Sister, My Friend. And this is coming out really soon. Here it is. Go check this out. My Sister, My Friend. There it is. So you guys are the first to see this. And I'll share this on social media platforms very soon. The pre-orders will be released today, by Friday. Friday, you'll be able to go onto my website and pre-order. You'll be able to go to Amazon.com and preferably pre-order by Friday as well. So again, My Sister, My Friend is something that I'll be releasing, okay? Do me a favor, guys. Please, my friends out there, go and purchase Tell the Truth, Timmy, and Forgiving Angie by Miss Tashonda McCormick on Amazon.com. Again, you can do it by typing in her name. Both of these great works are there. Her YouTube channel is scrolling at the bottom here, so make sure you go on there and subscribe to her YouTube page, all right? I love you guys. You'll be amazing. Have a great night, and thank you again, Tashonda, for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right. All right, everybody. Good night, everybody.